This video covers May 2022 generation and performance figures for our solar PV and Tesla Powerwall 2 here in the UK. I share our Ripple Energy wind turbine performance, our gas and electric bills for the month, and our Tesla Model 3 and Renault Zoe EV usage and stats. So stay tuned. John here and welcome. The cat's just joined me and jumped on my lap, so you may get a bit of purring. She purrs very loud. So apologies. Yeah, you do, don't you? So apologies if there's a bit of background purring. It's a first, but we shall carry on regardless. So May has been a good month for us, longer daylight hours and more frequent days with higher generation. I've actually added two new charts that I'll show you that data later on when we get to that. The graphic on screen shows our setup, and pause the video and review if you want to. All our components and specifications are in the description below this video. In last month's update, I included the first time the stats and performance for Crag Fafa wind turbine, a 2.5 megawatt wind turbine 180 miles away in Wales. How did we get on in May for wind power? Oh, the cat's licking me now. Here is a daily generation chart showing the monetary values on the left of the axes. The secondary axis on the right is the kilowatt hours generated. This is user specific chart based on how much energy we've invested in. We have 1,158 watts or units, which equates to about 25% of our annual electricity usage in terms of how they do the calculation. As you can see, a few high peaks and some very still days with very little wind generation. The 11th of May, the turbine was offline, hence the zero value. Here's a column chart from my dashboard on the Ripple's website, which is showing the same data set but without any monetary values included. And this is our second full month of generation from the turbine. In May, we will be credited £18.09 directly into our Octopus Energy account. And you'll see later how much our electricity and gas bill is for the month of May and whether this amount covers the bill or not. From go live on the 15th of March, we've been credited £55.56 in total over the 2.5 months. It'll be interesting to see what the monthly totals look like when we get into the windier weather in the autumn and winter months. 1st of June is the end of our second quarter for our FIT payments. I submitted generation reading on the 1st of June and we got paid on the 6th of June. We are with EDF for our FIT scheme, and over the past 11 years they have always paid within a few days of submitting the reading without fail. So a nod and thank you for doing that, for being prompt and efficient. As you can see there, a payment of £857.58 for our second quarter. This covers 1st of March to the 1st of June. There was a rate increase on the 1st of April, which is why there are 4 lines on this particular invoice rather than the normal 2. The new rate is 60.23 pence per kilowatt hour for generation from our 4 kilowatt array only, with a 50% deemed export at 4.25 pence per kilowatt hour. This chart shows the historical quarterly payments. Quarter 2 amount for 2022 is quite healthy, actually, the second highest over the past 11 years. And in case you like looking at the data table, this is a data table for the same data set as the chart that we've just looked at. It also gives some more information like the total FIT payment to date and the yearly average payment. So we've got 2 quarters left of 2022, which should add another around about £1,200 to the total so far. Yep, that's all fit and healthy. See what I did there? So let's have a look at the solar generation for May in a little bit more detail. May is typically a stellar month for overall solar generation, and we'll look back at previous year's data in a moment. The cooler temperatures, certainly than during the summer months, and the increased daylight hours as we run towards the longest day set a stage for a bumper month, or can set the stage for a bumper month. I was intrigued by this and decided to chart two new data sets. This chart looks at the day by day and shows our peak generation for each day. That's the yellow columns. The blue line is the time of day that peak happens. Peak generation uses the left-hand axis for kilowatts generated. The time of peak data uses the secondary right-hand axis, which is, unsurprisingly, is the time of day. Over the 31 days in May, we've had some good consistent high peaks in generation, with only 3 days where we fell below a peak of 3 kilowatts. The time of day that peak arrives gives you an indication of the weather that particular day. You would expect the peak to happen during the time when the sun is at its zenith in the sky. Looking at the data, you can see there's a few outliers which basically can be ignored. Most of the data points are between 1 p.m. or 1300 hours and 3 p.m. or 1500 hours, which is where you would expect them to be. Then I looked at the times for the start and end of the solar day and mapped those onto this chart. I've added trend lines, the dotted lines, so you can see the pattern here. Start of the solar day is getting earlier and earlier. That's the lower part of the chart in blue. And the opposite is true with the end of solar day, which is getting later and later, which is the top of the chart. And as you can see that as the month trundles on. Some 14 hours of available daylight each day, giving massive opportunity to generate solar. And I thought it was sort of interesting to see that data mapped onto a couple of charts. And let me know your thoughts. Was that useful to see? Does your data show sort of different patterns? Let me know in the comments down below. Our south-southwest 6.34 kilowatt arrays produced a total of 802 units, beating April, which was a solid month's performance. So yeah, very happy with that. Interestingly, our average daily solar generation was 26 units for the month, which was again the same as April. So how did you all get on? Drop your totals in the comments down below, please. Let's have a look at our both arrays. Our 4 kilowatt array produced 502 units, and the newer 2.34 array produced 299 units. Not much more to tell you about that. You know, they're on the same roof aspect, which means they see the same sunshine pattern. Let's move on to our self-power, see how we fared during the month. We've been on self-power mode with the Powerwall for most of May. I don't actually recall dropping into cost-saving mode. And if we did, I didn't record it in my spreadsheet, which I normally do. With solar PV and Powerwall contributions, we were 87% self-powered for the month. As ever at this time of year, solar contribution makes up the bulk of the self-power due to the longer daylight hours and opportunity to be self-powered from solar alone. This leaves the battery to pick up the slack at sunset through to the following morning. We often found we had 60 to 70% charge still left in the battery at the start of the next solar day. So this is our year-on-year chart for the month of May over the past 11 years. In May 2020 was, well, yeah, one kind of a month, really massive. I don't think we'll be seeing that amount again anytime soon. But it does put 2022 firmly in second place there at 802 units. The last 3 years are the totals for both arrays, whereas the years before that are just for the 4 kilowatt array, hence the big drop difference between that from 2019 backwards. Powerwall in and out, let's talk about that. We had a round trip efficiency of 87% for the Powerwall for the month of May, 361 units into the battery, 314 pulled out, which was actually very similar to April's figures if you have a look there on that chart. This chart is our day by day. House usage shown in blue climbs steadily for the first 5 days of the month. A bumper down the 5th of May where we charged the Tesla overnight on cheap rate electricity and ran one of the kilns. The rest of the month was fairly uneventful. In most cases we used solar with some battery support to reduce our grid pull over the month. Even when we're running on self-power from solar or the battery, we do seem to sort of trickle charge from the grid. I picked a typical day and just to have a look at that in a little bit more detail, so I'll share that with you. This is Wednesday the 25th of May. According to the Tesla app, we were 98% self-powered for the day. Home usage was 17.8 with 300 watts coming in from the grid. Again, this is all from the Tesla app. And if I log on to my Octopus Energy dashboard, I can see a steady trickle from the grid throughout the day. Look at the axes on the right hand side of this chart. It's not high usage numbers, it's into watts rather than kilowatts. However, over the course of 24 hours, it does tend to add up. The highest half hourly consumption was 0.024 kilowatt hours or 2.5 watts, and the lowest hourly consumption was 0. This is, say, half hour. But all those half hourly snippets sort of add up, and they add up in this case to 661 watts for the day, which is actually twice what the Tesla Powerwall app states, but that's by and by. I do wonder whether we'll be better off with a Gateway 2 rather than a Gateway 1 that we currently have with the Tesla Powerwall. Would it be more efficient? So if anybody has a Gateway 2 and fancies doing a similar experiment for a given day, I'd love to know your results. I'm wondering if the Gateway 2 would be better at managing the ins and outs from the grid. Plus, it would give me the added benefit of being able to power the house in a power outage, something that we currently don't have with the Gateway 1. This is our monthly totals chart. I'm not going to dwell on this for too long. So house usage in blue, 975 units. Solar, as you know, 802. The surplus of that was from the grid at 235, with 66 going back to the grid. Let's have a look at those in a little bit more detail, the grid side of things on these two charts. This is our average daily house usage and our average daily grid usage over the preceding months. Average daily house usage shown in blue was 31 units, a slight drop from April. Average daily grid shown in red was 8 units, again a slight drop from April. What we sent to the grid was 66 units, and regulars all know I tend to maximise our locally grown electricity. I don't have an export tariff in place apart from the 50% deemed export, which is part of our FIT payments, and I've no plans to change that until we start to use less power during the day, when I think we would probably swap to an SEG export tariff, but more on that in the future. In terms of what we pulled from the grid, we pulled 236 units from the grid in May, again a drop down from April's figure. Here's the data we've looked at already, but it's from Home Assistant. I really need to organise my life here and do a proper update video on Home Assistant, and apologies, I did promise it before and I've just not got round to doing it. My excuse? Well, it's a reason more than an excuse. I've been busy in the garage working on my Cobra replica because it's got a hot starting issue, which resulted in me stripping off the manifold, rebuilding the carburettor and other bits and pieces. So that's what I've been working on fairly regularly over the last couple of weeks. Anyway, back to where we are here. So let's have a look at the Eddy. So the MyEnergy Eddy heats our hot water from surplus solar. I did add a second layer of insulation around our water cylinder. It already had a foam core around it, but I've added an additional jacket, as well as lagging all the pipework that I could get to with pipework insulation, that foam insulation. And it's obviously made a difference in terms of the water stays hotter for longer. Like, who knew that would happen? The little blue maximum temperature reached on the MyEnergy hub stays lit for longer now. So I know it was basically, or it will be worth the £26 I paid for it over the course of the longer term. The Eddy diverted 67 units of excess solar generation to heat our hot water during the month, a similar amount to April. Running totals for the Eddy are 182 units for the year and 1,003 since installation. The running savings, based on using our cheap rate, 5.5 pence per unit, works out at £70.53. Let's move on to the cars. The Tesla Model 3 covered 1,081 units during the month. Units. 1,081 miles during the month, bringing its total mileage to 20,720. No issues or problems to report. Well, I say that. I did have a mini spider invasion that I had to remove with a detailing brush. I opened the front, and in the hinge area was a bundle of those mini orb spiders that you get to this time of year. I removed as many as I could, but did find a few cobwebs inside the car with associated spiders in residence some days later. But they've all been evicted now and rehoused in a more appropriate environment. We did 5 public charging sessions where we added a total of 191 units. All the charging was free at Tesla Superchargers. We used the new to us, chargers at Ferrybridge on a very sunny day, as you can see here, plus our favourite at Barnsley, and one at a very damp charge at Y Boston. We did one in Oxford as well, but I haven't taken photos for that for some reason. Home charging on the Tesla added 132 units, and 59% of our home charging for the month came from sunshine. 141 units coming from solar and 97 from the grid. And this grid energy would have been at the off-peak Go Faster tariff price at 5.5 pence per unit. And this is the lifetime map of where we have been and where we have charged in those little red dots. In terms of the software, this is a bit of a snapshot of our software updates and where our battery is. So 292 miles is our current battery range. We started on just over 300 from memory. Okay, we did a big trip up to Settle in Lancashire to do a cheese making course for a day, which was good fun, and that was really easy in the Tesla. Charge on the way up, charge on the way back, and we could have done it just with one charge, but we decided to play it safe. The Zoe, let's have a look at the Zoe. The 22 kilowatt Zoe covered 366 miles during the month. Now has a total mileage of 27,012 miles. No problems or issues with the car. As you can see, the cost per mile to run both cars has been another very cheap month, with the Zoe pushing the boundary at £0.01 per mile. Finally, let's have a look at our gas and electric bill for the month of May. Gas first, so it's 31 days from the 5th of May to the 5th of June inclusive. Our billing period is slightly out of sync with the period covered by my monthly update videos. So my video covers the 31 days of May. The gas and electric bills covers the 5th of May to the 5th of June, sorry, the 4th of June. So it's still 31 days, but not the same 31 days. So bear that in mind. It's not an exact like for like, but hey, it's near enough. During this period, we had used 0 cubic meters of gas, which is the equivalent of 0 units of electricity. Our rate for gas went up in April and it's now 0.0693 pence per unit. So the bill less the standing charge was 0.00. I like seeing that. Standing charge was £8.04. VAT was 40 pence, bringing a total bill of £8.44 for the month of not using anything. So our standing charge cost for the year is £94.92, almost £100, and that's going to go up again later this year. So we are working toward ditching gas and getting the gas meter removed, which will then save us for £100 plus a year just on standing charge. And hopefully that will offset some of the increasing costs of going pure electric, depending on the heating solution that we choose. More on that in another video, which I have planned, so it's a more longer term plans. Electricity usage Again, same time period, 31 days, 5th of May through to the 4th of June inclusive. So 176.5 units split between 18.8 at peak and 157.7 at off peak. Bill less the standing charge was £11, spot on. Standing charge again gone up, £7.38 for the month. VAT at 92 pence, bringing a bill total of £19.30. And the average unit cost for electricity over the month was 6.23 pence per unit. So our total energy bill for the period was £27.74. If we take off the Ripple energy saving of £18.09, that leaves us with a bill of £9.65 for the month. And there you go, that's it. Any questions, dive down into the comments and I'll pick those up. As usual, please comment, like, share, all of those good things help get this video shown to more people on YouTube, which helps my channel grow. Subscribe if you're not already. Thanks for watching and I'll see you on the next video. All right, take care.